What is going on, everyone? It's your guy Cole Jackson back here on Road Graders, powered today by BetUS, and we are going to be taking a look at the game of Roger Rosengarten, a guy that's coming off an injury that he suffered in the Bengals game, had some struggles in that one, had some struggles in this game, got charged with 6 pressures. I want to go through. I think this is the perfect opportunity to check in on a rookie, see what's going on, because you know, it's great to see someone like Rosengarten, and I mean, I've covered him a ton on this channel. Look at the success, look at what's going well, but you learn a lot about a player when they're losing. We learn more from our losses. And I think it's, you know, sometimes when we look at pressure numbers, it can be a little concerning when you see something like 6. That's a lot, right? But then when you look at the type of pressures allowed, I think that type of context is really what we need to see, and we're going to kind of go through it. I think most of them are in this video. Really take a look at how they happened. There's only one that really stood out as being bad to me. If you guys know the pre-draft look at Roger Rosengarten, a lot of concerns in his anchor. That is certainly how his the sack he gave up. I think Lamar was only sacked 2 times, one of them being from Rosengarten. So if that was happening repeatedly, I'd be a lot more concerned. But as you'll see in this video, that's not necessarily how he's losing. So if you guys are looking forward to this breakdown, if you're looking forward to seeing more about Roger Rosengarten, learning from his rookie lumps, hit that like button for me. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of the last 2 weeks of Rosengarten playing through this injury, how he's doing in your mind, what you noticed during your live watch, during your film study. Let me know. I want to hear from you guys. So before we jump into it, go check out BetUS. Lines are already up for Monday Night Football. Ravens traveling to Tampa to take on the Bucs. There's also the Chargers and Cardinals going on Monday night. Go over there, check out the lines. Ravens opening as 3.5 favorites. And as always, use promo code YouTube150 to get 150% sign-up bonus. And then you'll get 125% on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000. Free money, bigger bets, all good stuff. So we're going to start here with the sack allowed. We'll run it through. We'll come back, break it down. And if you guys were watching, let's just let this happen and then, okay. So if you guys were watching the broadcast, I'll play it through as I talk this through. They kind of spoke about the depth of Lamar Jackson. I do think this plays a role, and we'll take a look at why. So you see, as Lamar's kind of dropped back pretty far, and really the reason I would agree that he has a deep drop is because you can see from both tackles as they're turning inwards. Let me get my screen brush so that we can use that. As they're turning inwards, you can kind of see Lamar's out the back of the pocket. So, you know, as they build that cone-shaped pocket, if they're going to push out the back, it's going right into Lamar Jackson. So I'm just noticing, you know, usually they have a number of steps in the drop back on a given play. Just noticing how Ronnie's set, how Roger's set. You can see right here, you know, him being at the back of the pocket. I do think that plays a role in this, but that doesn't excuse the loss from Roger Rosengarten. So I didn't really like the broadcast saying that. I think that they were just trying to react to something and focus on something. It kind of looked like it took blame off Rosengarten, put it on Lamar. I don't really agree with that because, as you're going to see, Rosengarten's going to shoot that outside hand. He's going to make contact, and then his base just simply gets too narrow. And this is really the anchor issue that I thought personally we'd see a little bit more of. And, you know, as I've covered in a lot of these Rosengarten videos, he's done a really good job of anchoring. But right here, this is against Dante Fowler, you know, a really solid veteran. He's just going to run through, and right there, just, you know, pushes through his anchor. He's got a narrow base. We talk about this all the time. Your base is your power. We're in narrow steps here. As he starts to drive him back, he takes control of his upper body and just pushes his hands down and is able to run right through. And you can see right there, right at this point, that inside hand, can't really see because of the glove. You can see it moving upwards right here at the mark. So that's going to push upwards, and he's just going to rip through to get that sack. So, I mean, sure, deep drop point, whatever. But Roger Rosengarten just needs to be able to anchor better here, and that's something that he has done well. You can see right there at the contact point, base is narrow, feet too close together, and as he's going to start, he goes straight into recovery mode where he's backpedaling. We want to be out there with that wide base, hit those hands, and then be able to, you know, put our feet down. And this is just something that Rosengarten, you know, it's going to happen throughout his career, but I will say I expected that to be a much bigger problem, and it really hasn't been through his first 3 starts, including preseason games. So definitely encouraging there. But where I do want to focus, because the majority of his pressures came off 2 primary factors. One being his quick sets that he wasn't able to sustain. And if you guys have been watching these videos on Rosengarten, I've covered this a lot, how he mixes up his sets, jumps out on guys, turns 45-degree sets into quick sets, and he's usually able to use, I always call him he looks like a power forward in basketball with his feet, big man on the perimeter playing defense, but in a couple of these cases he's just going to lose his man. So that's where a couple of them came from, and then later in the video we'll take a look at a couple processing errors. But this is what I mean by the types of pressures are really important, and that's why I want to spend some time on Rosengarten this week and really show you guys where the issues are coming from. So let's run it through here and I'll show you what I mean. So you're going to see right out there, this has been kind of a classic Rosengarten snap. Something that he usually does so well is mix those 45-degree sets. So at his set point, get back here. So when I say transition a 45 into a quick, so we got 3 primary sets. You got a quick set where he's going to go straight out, or maybe not straight forward, straight out this way, hands on the player. You're going to get a 45-degree set, which is exactly what it looks like, and a 90-degree where he's going vertical, or a vertical set. So you're going to see right here, we're going to take that 45-degree set, and then we're going to launch out into a quick. So 45 and then a quick. And this is really effective for a guy like Rosengarten, who moves so well, has such good feet, because the key to Roger Rosengarten being successful is limiting his margin for error with his arm length. He's got short arms on the edge, and he needs to get his hands out and start that rep early. You see right there, his hands are going to land early. And right here, when he starts to have to react to this isn't Fowler actually, but when the edge defender starts to react and turn in these secondary, tertiary pass rush moves, he needs to be able to stay with them. And so this is just a very rare issue where right here, that left foot is going to cross over, and we never want to get ourselves into crossing our feet. We want to be able to stay in that parallel basis. But when we get out, when we do these quick sets, we kind of go into survival mode out there on the edge, and you're just trying to stay in front of your guy. And it really is a lot like playing basketball defense, where you're going to get into recovery mode pretty quick. This rep is overall about just over 3 seconds. So, some models actually wouldn't even charge this as a pressure, but that quick set, when he's not able to stay with his guy, he can get into issues with this. He's actually been quite successful at it through his first few starts, but it was a bit of an issue in this game, and we're going to see it again here. I believe this one's off play action, and you're going to see right there, there's that true quick set, and he just isn't able to get his hands on him enough, and Lamar has to step up. Not a huge issue. This would technically count as a hurry because Lamar has to step up in the pocket, and that's caused by number 92 beating Rosengarten, but it does go for a positive gain. So again, not necessarily concerning pressure, but this is a true vertical coming off play action, or a true quick set. So he's going to go straight out. Again, it's not quite forward. It's straight out at his guy, and he just wants to get his hands on. And so that's fine. Like, I love the aggression here. I love that he has the athleticism to do that. But as soon as he hits his hands like this, he needs to be able to keep those feet moving and keep on that, that vertical plane to be able to stay with his guy. And right here, he just kind of loses his hands on him. So that's just something that he's going to have to build more consistency with. He gets out there, pop, and then be able to, rather than turn inwards like this, keep that vertical movement going. So what I'd like to do is once he gets out there, gets his hands on, try and get that right foot, that outside kick step to get out this way. Maybe not that far, but out here, because then if he wants to try and beat you inside, you're going to have your post step already set up, and then you can kind of get out there and get into, kind of a mock pass set. But when we get out there, we're too horizontal like this, and now we're working sideways with way too much room to bend the corner, and that's exactly what happens here. Forces the step up. So I love the aggression in his quick sets. I think it's one of his greatest assets, but when we get out there, when we hit our hands, we need to be more consistent on using our feet to stay in front. You're gonna see it again here, kind of the same idea, pretty much the exact same concept, right? So he's going to take that 45 step you see right there, and then he transitions to a quick. He gets out there, hand shoots, And right here, we kind of get into, I'd almost call this like scramble mode, right? Where we're just kind of using our feet to stay with him, but he kind of oversets on the recovery here, doesn't hit his hands, and then, Lamar gets contacted. Ball's already out, not a huge issue, but just seeing that kind of issue happen a few times in this game made me take notice because, again, I do think that quick set is one of his greatest strengths. His ability to mix up his sets, super positive, but we need to be more consistent in how we're doing it. I think we get another play action pass here. And then, I wanted to show these because this is, I wanted to show him, losing a certain way and then also showing him just in this exact game doing it so well because this is him doing exactly what we're talking about. Quick set out there, and you can see right there when he kind of goes into scramble mode, staying on that vertical plane, and right there if he kind of, this defender tries to come back inside, but he's got the feet ready to go, stay with him. So just looking at that exact type of concept, quick set out there, staying with him. And, we're just moving our feet better here. Simple as that. It's just building consistency in how we do it. Hell of a catch by Zay there. Get a couple extra yards. God, he had a good game. Here we are out here on the edge again. Ricard motions to the left. And there's that quick set. Loved this play, actually. See those hands. So watch. We're going to contact. And then watch him go right there. You see those two hands pushed down, trying to hit him with the snatch. Doesn't hit it, but just loving the way we're seeing some of these advanced techniques come together. I think this kid's going to be so special. The ability to quick set like that, turn it into a snatch. It's stuff that a guy like Mitch Schwartz used to do all the time for the Chiefs. He turned into an all-pro. I don't know if Rosengarten's going to get there, but he is going to be quite good. Keep working through here. I think, we got one more. See, that's what I mean. I want to show you guys some snaps of him, doing that well and making sure that we're showing that full picture because it's not just that this was a constant issue, but when he was giving up pressures, it was coming from those quick sets where he's losing and, just, again, developing that consistency throughout. I think we get into a stunt here. No, I'm going to show you one more. Again, showing that anchor. So I won this way quite a few times. Out there, right there. See that those vice grips? Like seeing them when they try and pull off. We got that jersey under lock. And again, when he's in scramble mode there, chugging his feet along quite well. So a couple of pressures coming from those quick sets, guys getting loose, guys getting past Lamar Jackson. Then there were plays where I just thought him and Falele did a poor job of communicating on stunts. This was something that the Commanders' defense did a lot on third down. They want to get that Fortek out there as a defensive tackle and get an edge player. And then what they're trying to do in this scenario, especially on the right side, is get Daniel Falele out in space, get Rosengarten out in space, and really make Tyler Linderbaum decide which way he's going to give help. And so snap's going to come, Linderbaum's going to give that help right, and so you're going to see right here, the Fortek's going to work his way up, try and get into Linderbaum, edge defender is going to loop around, just a classic stunt, and you see Rosengarten just doesn't pick this up. So as it comes, he's got his hand out, and he's feeling for it, but he just doesn't get, he's creating that gate a little bit too much, a little too focused on that edge defender. Again, this is how they're trying to do it with scheme because Rosengarten has to respect that wide alignment with no tight end, no running back. He's in empty. So he's got a kick set. He's got his eyes focused. And this is something that I have noticed on a few plays with Rosengarten is he gets overly focused on a specific thing, and that can cause him some issues. So as he's focused there, he's not going to see that stunt, and they're just going to take that inside corner here. And Rosengarten isn't able to, this was almost a caught ball, but a rush throw from Lamar Jackson. So just better communication, better processing, but dealing with that Fortek as we get into our vertical set and being prepared to have to pick up that stunt if it comes. That's something that I'd like to see Rosengarten do a little bit better. Get into another play here where, again, they're going to pass this off. And, this comes off a quick set, so it's really, right there, 45 quick, come out, and then 94 is going to work into him. And it's kind of the same idea. It's on the the Mark Andrews touchdown. Ball comes out, not a big deal. But you can see the same concept here because as he goes in to take over 94, this inside hand, this inside foot, that post step that needs to come up this way, it's just obviously compromised, and Falele has to come off to pick up the looper. So this is something that these two are going to have to work out a little bit better. And again, it's coming with no tight end help on that side, and we got that wide alignment. They don't have a 4-tech. He is a 2-tech over top of the guard, and he's just going to slant out. So this is something that I'd like to see them do a little bit better. But when we get into these quick set scenarios, that's obviously going to be a challenge. So Rosengarten's going to have to work on, okay, if I quick set out here and I get a stunt coming, how do I make up this gap? Because that's something, I mean, Rosengarten quick sets on a lot of these snaps, and he does it because it's such a great asset. But in a stunt scenario, how can he basically recover and not give up that inside lane to be able to take the pressure off of Lamar Jackson when those stunts do come? So that's really what I got from Roger Rosengarten, really focusing on those processing, working those stunts with Daniel Falele, and then obviously having that consistency in those quick sets that he does do quite well, can be an elite tool in his toolbox, but just making sure that we're consistent when we get out there, because it is an aggressive play, and that's really how it should be looked at. It's an aggressive, high-risk, high-reward play. I would say maybe not high risk. I'd say high reward, medium-sized risk. So drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of Rosengarten. How are you feeling about him overall? Has he been a drastic improvement at right tackle? Hit that like button for me. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit subscribe if you're new here. And as always, thank you to BetUS for sponsoring this video.